Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're taking a long, focused look into the sources surrounding an icon whose career trajectory is, well, it's less a slow, winding path toward the expected finish line.
And more a deliberate, massive expansion.
Exactly, an expansion that occurred decades after most people would even consider settling into retirement. We are talking, of course, about Dame Judi Dench.
And specifically, we're looking at the blueprints for continuous late-career reinvention she has, in a way, left behind for all of us.
That's it.
Indeed. When we analyze a figure of her stature, a theatrical giant often referred to simply as a national treasure, it's really easy to just overlook the intentional and often surprising pivots she made across 7 decades. So our mission today is to look beyond that long list of accolades, the Oscar, the Tony, the record-setting competitive Olivier Awards, and really understand how she constructed her public persona.
It's not just as a performer, is it?
Not at all. Is her persona as an avatar of what we can call aspirational aging.
Aspirational aging, I love that. And the core thesis for you, our listener, is just profoundly motivating when you dig into it.
It really is.
Age is demonstrably a number. It is not a finish line. Dench's story is this vivid, high-definition blueprint proving that you can achieve continuous renewal, discover entirely new audiences.
And peak internationally in your 60s, 70s, and even your 80s.
It's just incredible.
It's a really powerful lesson in applying decades of mastery to completely new domains and, refusing to be categorized by those conventional expectations.
And constantly seeking challenges, right, no matter what the calendar or the critics might suggest.
Exactly.
Okay, let's unpack this. We are looking at a career spanning 7 decades, starting way back in 1957.
A lifetime.
A lifetime. But the amazing thing is that she hit her biggest, most globally recognized stride in her 60s.
Which is just unheard of, especially for an actress.
To understand that late-stage triumph, though, we absolutely have to start with the foundational brickwork, because you don't just, walk onto a James Bond set at 61 without a truly formidable theatrical background.
Well, absolutely not. Her origin story is so deeply rooted in the world of professional theater, specifically in Yorkshire.
Right, born 1934.
Exactly. And she wasn't just near the arts, she was completely immersed in them. Her father, Reginald Dench, served as the general practitioner for the York Theatre Royal.
The doctor for the theater.
Yes. While her mother, Eleonora, was the wardrobe mistress. They were, for all intents and purposes, the unofficial first family of the local theater scene.
That context is so vital, isn't it? It means she grew up understanding the mechanics, the chaos, the dedication required both on stage and, crucially, behind the scenes.
She saw the whole machine. She was even involved in the local York mystery plays as a juvenile.
And eventually played the Virgin Mary in the 1957 revival, I read.
She did. But here is an early indication of her versatility and that willingness to pivot we mentioned. She initially enrolled at the York College of Art.
Not for acting.
No, intending to train as a set designer. She had a keen eye for visual space and mechanics.
It's so interesting how early she flirted with leaving the stage entirely. That suggests a kind of underlying interest in creative control and design, doesn't it?
It really does.
But what changed her trajectory completely, what really defined her path forward, was a single transcendent experience.
Yes. Seeing Peggy Ashcroft.
Seeing Peggy Ashcroft play Cleopatra on stage. Dench later described that moment simply as having changed her life.
And that's the power of witnessing true mastery, isn't it? It can literally alter the course of your life.
It absolutely can.
And that inspiration pushed her into formal training at the prestigious Central School of Speech and Drama in London.
And she wasn't just a good student.
Oh, she was clearly an exceptional student. When she graduated, she hadn't just secured a diploma, she swept the board. She took home 4 major acting prizes, including the gold medal as the outstanding student.
Wow.
This isn't just a foundation. This is the definition of a blue-chip classical pedigree.
And she jumped immediately into the classical deep end, right? Her professional stage debut came in September 1957 at the age of 23.
And she's playing Ophelia in Hamlet with the Old Vic Company.
Ophelia. That's not exactly a small part to start with.
Not at all. But what I find truly fascinating in our sources is that the critics, while they acknowledged her raw talent, they weren't immediately complimentary about her technical perfection.
Oh, that's interesting. So it wasn't an immediate "a star is born" kind of moment?
Not in that cliché way, no. We often think of icons debuting as these fully formed goddesses, but the reality is so much more encouraging.
How so?
Well, one reviewer, acknowledging the potential, noted she had, and I'm paraphrasing just a bit, talent which will be shown to better advantage when she acquires some technique to go with it.
So, great potential, but needs to work on it.
Precisely. And this quote is a gift because it frames her career not as an immediate arrival, but as a commitment to relentless acquisition and refinement over decades. She was a gifted student, but one who knew the real work was just beginning.
For the next 2 decades, she just defined herself through that dedication, relentlessly cycling through the great Shakespearean heroines.
She spent 4 seasons with the Old Vic, traveling through the U.S. and Canada, then joined the legendary Royal Shakespeare Company, the RSC, in 1961.
And the list of roles she took on, it reads like a masterclass syllabus. Juliet in 1960, Isabella in Measure for Measure, the Duchess in The Duchess of Malfi.
This period absolutely cemented her reputation for rigor and quality. And 2 roles in particular really established her dominance in the theatrical landscape.
I'm guessing one of them is Lady Macbeth.
You'd be right. First, her acclaimed performance as Lady Macbeth in 1976. Michael Billington, who was one of the foremost critics of the time, wrote, "If this is not great acting, I don't know what is."
That's high praise.
It's about as high as it gets. That performance was so commanding that she won the Sweat Best Actress Award, which was the precursor to the Olivier that year.
And the second defining role.
Later, her turn as Cleopatra in 1987 at the National Theatre. This wasn't just another role, it was a definitive interpretation of the character, delivered late in the decade when her reputation was already ironclad.
It's so critical that her entire foundation was built in this high-culture classical sphere. This is what provides that deep credibility and the unshakable gravitas that later allowed her to command any screen role, whether it's a queen or a spy boss.
Absolutely. The whole national treasure status, which, as we'll discuss, she would later resist, is rooted right here. In the years she spent rigorously defining Britain's theatrical tradition.
She established this unshakable reputation for excellence and meticulous rigor.
But what's so fascinating is that even while she's earning this high culture credibility, she immediately realized the danger of becoming typecast, even within such a prestigious world.
And typecasting, for you, the listener, is the slow death of a long career, especially for an actress. It limits the roles you're offered, it reduces your visibility.
You get put in a box.
So, to combat this potential serious classical actress box, she made a wildly surprising pivot in 1968.
She starred as Sally Bowles in the London production of the musical Cabaret.
Which is a world away from Lady Macbeth.
A world away. And this was not an easy transition. The sources recall her deep anxiety about it. Sheridan Morley reported that she was so scared of singing publicly that during the audition, she didn't even stand on stage.
No way.
She sang from the wings, leaving the pianist totally alone in the spotlight.
Imagine that. A respected, rising classical star taking that kind of risk, showing that vulnerability.
That moment just encapsulates the courage required for reinvention. She put her reputation on the line, stepping into a domain, musical theater, that demanded a completely different skill set and performance style.
But the move paid off enormously, didn't it?
Hugely. Critics were surprised, noting positively that she sings well, and it instantly broadened her perceived range and versatility. It showed she could handle contemporary, challenging material with a lighter, cabaret-style touch.
And that versatility was then leveraged brilliantly in the burgeoning world of British television.
This is arguably what made her an accessible household name in the UK long before Hollywood really knew who she was.
Right. She achieved enormous popularity in the romantic sitcom A Fine Romance,
Which ran from 1981 to 1984, where she starred alongside her real-life husband, Michael Williams.
And then, of course, the globally beloved As Time Goes By, which ran for over a decade, from 1992 all the way to 2005.
This ability to seamlessly straddle both high and popular culture
Moving from the intensity of Lady Macbeth to the relatable warmth of a primetime sitcom.
was absolutely key to building the broad, cross-generational affection she enjoys today. The sitcom roles humanized her, they made her funny and accessible.
And the Shakespearean roles made her untouchable in terms of skill and seriousness. She was truly a fully formed, multi-award-winning national star in the UK by the end of the 1980s.
Her trophy cabinet by this point was just overflowing. She already had multiple BAFTAs for television, including an early Best Actress BAFTA in 1968 for the TV drama Talking to a Stranger.
And even earlier, she won a BAFTA for Most Promising Newcomer in 1966 for the film 4 in the Morning.
And then there's the Best Entertainment Performance BAFTA in 1985 for her work with Michael Williams in A Fine Romance.
And critically, she had won 3 competitive Laurence Olivier Awards for her stage work by the end of the 80s, which is the highest honor in British theater.
Best Actress in a Revival in '77, and again in '80, and Best Actress in a New Play in '83.
This immense, diverse recognition showed she had conquered every single corner of British entertainment. She'd achieved what's known as the British Triple Crown competitive wins across film, TV, and stage.
And yet, the world stage remained largely untouched. This sets the stage for the reinvention. She had maximized her potential within the British Isles. The question was, what was the next challenge?
And the answer arrived right as most of her contemporaries were beginning to think about slowing down.
Exactly.
Her entry into the global film sphere in her 60s is where her story becomes truly inspiring for the listener, regardless of your career stage.
Yes.
Before the mid-1990s, the sources note her film appearances were genuinely infrequent, often small supporting roles, like in A Room with a View in 1985.
She was not a leading lady in blockbusters. Not at all.
This is why her explosion onto the international scene after the age of 60 is so remarkable. Most professional careers, especially for women, are traditionally forced to wind down then. Hers went vertical.
It really emphasizes that her stardom, in the global commercial sense, came at an age when society typically relegates individuals to the sidelines.
She was 60 years old in 1995 when the first and I think most culturally significant international opportunity landed on her desk.
And that opportunity, of course, was the iconic role of M in the James Bond franchise.
Starting with 1995's GoldenEye, she became the first woman to hold the role, succeeding Robert Brown. It was a calculating move that just spoke volumes about her gravitas.
And this choice was deeply strategic and modern. The sources confirm that the character of M was reportedly modeled on the real-life head of MI5 at the time, Dame Stella Remington.
Who ran the security service from 1992 to 1996.
Right, so this wasn't just casting a known actress. It was infusing the role with immediate, contemporary gravitas and a sharp, authoritative modernity. It was signaling that the intelligence world was changing.
The impact was instantaneous, and it was pivotal for the franchise's revitalization. GoldenEye was the 17th Bond film, the first with Pierce Brosnan.
And it was widely viewed by critics as a necessary modernization of the series after the Cold War.
Dench's M was instantly tougher, sharper, and utterly dismissive of the old ways.
Well, that first meeting with Bond is a cultural watershed moment. She famously calls the super spy a sexist, misogynistic dinosaur in their very first exchange.
That one line, delivered by an actress who carried the entire weight of British theatrical history with her, instantly redefined the relationship between the character and the establishment he served.
It was a jolt, and she anchored the franchise for 2 decades. She continued that role across 8 Bond films right up until her emotional cameo in Spectre in 2015.
That role alone cemented her place in one of Britain's most globally recognizable film franchises.
But the real game changer, in terms of her personal international stardom, arrived just 2 years later.
At age 63.
At age 63, she took on her first true starring international film role as Queen Victoria in Mrs. Brown.
This was the film that demonstrated she wasn't just a powerful supporting player, she was a major cinematic force in her own right.
And the story of Mrs. Brown is just a perfect illustration of how external validation can push a career to completely unexpected heights.
Because it wasn't supposed to be a movie, right? A theatrical release?
Not at all. The film was originally intended just for BBC One television. It was never conceived for a major cinematic rollout.
But the reception, which was driven entirely by the undeniable force of her central performance, was so strong that Miramax bought the rights for international distribution.
The film's success was a revelation. It went on to earn over $13 million worldwide and officially launched her Hollywood film career with a bang.
And it proved that mature roles could carry serious box office weight.
And, most significantly, Mrs. Brown earned her first Best Actress Oscar nomination.
That moment proved to the world, and maybe to herself, that she could carry a major film internationally in her 60s.
This is where the narrative shifts completely. It stops being about a long, respectable career and becomes a story of late-stage global commercial triumph.
And the anecdote about Harvey Weinstein, who distributed the film, it just captures her irreverent personality so perfectly, contrasting it with her rapidly skyrocketing fame.
Ah, yes, the tattoo story.
She joked in 2011 while accepting a British Film Institute award that her Hollywood career launched thanks to Harvey, whose name I have had tattooed on my bum.
She later clarified it was a temporary joke tattoo, obviously, but that sense of dry, self-mocking humor,
The ability to be both regal and rebellious.
is what stuck. That mixture of unimpeachable theatrical seriousness and cheeky, self-deprecating wit is what allowed her to become a global superstar in a way that wasn't overly reverential or stiff.
And her momentum just didn't slow down.
The very next year, 1998, she was back on the Oscar stage, winning the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for playing Queen Elizabeth I in Shakespeare in Love.
She was 64, firmly in the middle of her greatest professional breakthrough.
And the detail about her efficiency in that film is legendary.
She won that Oscar for playing the Queen for a mere 8 minutes on screen.
8 minutes. That's a profound testament to the weight and the impact she brought to every single moment she occupied on film.
It's a moment of performance capture. She had the ability to convey a lifetime of authority and historical weight in just a blink.
Exactly. And her dry, perfectly timed comment upon winning is just classic Dench.
I feel for 8 minutes on the screen, I should only get a little bit of him.
Referencing the statuette, it highlights that profound humility and her resistance to taking herself too seriously, even as she was becoming this unprecedented late-career movie star.
The 1990s truly were the inflection point. She solidified her transatlantic status by winning a Tony Award in 1999 for her Broadway performance in David Hare's Amy's View.
So having already achieved the rare British Triple Crown with BAFTAs and Oliviers, the 90s saw her conquering the global equivalents in film with the Oscar and on Broadway with the Tony.
She had absolutely nothing left to prove, yet her most productive decades were still ahead of her.
It's mind-boggling.
As we move into the 21st century, the story becomes less about achieving that initial breakthrough and more about sheer endurance, resilience, and the power of work in the face of immense personal hardship.
This is a section that truly demonstrates the non-negotiable commitment she had to her craft.
And that hardship arrived very early in the century. In January 2001, her husband of 30 years, Michael Williams, died of lung cancer.
A devastating personal loss. But her reaction to it offers profound insight into the emotional discipline of a working artist.
The pivot she made is truly remarkable and I think highly motivational. She went almost immediately to Newfoundland in Canada to begin production on the film The Shipping News.
She didn't retreat. She faced the intensity of grief, and she countered it with the intensity of work.
She credited acting as her rescue therapy during that raw time.
She noted that people, friends, kept saying, "You are not facing up to it. You need to face up to it." And maybe they were right, but I felt I was in the acting.
She went on to say, "Grief supplies you with an enormous amount of energy. I needed to use that up."
That concept is so powerful for you, the listener. Grief is volatile, overwhelming energy, and the choice to redirect that enormous destabilizing energy into focused, demanding creative productivity rather than allowing it to paralyze her.
It speaks to an intense, almost heroic emotional discipline. She didn't seek an escape. She sought an application for that energy.
And the resulting film output and the quality of her work remained unparalleled throughout her 60s, 70s, and 80s. She didn't slow down. She accelerated.
In the very same year her husband died, she earned her 4th Oscar nomination.
For Iris, portraying the novelist Iris Murdoch through different phases of her life and focusing particularly on the devastating decline due to Alzheimer's.
The significance of that role choice is so important. Playing Iris Murdoch required deep emotional vulnerability, dealing with the realities of aging and mental decline.
It was a complex, difficult character, not a comfortable one. And this was just a year after her 3rd nomination for Chocolat in 2000.
It's an astounding pattern of consistency, utterly defying the industry trend for actresses her age.
Let's just chart this relentless late-career success for a moment. Just 4 years later, she was nominated for a Leading Actress Oscar for Mrs. Henderson Presence.
In 2005, she was 71.
Playing a World War I widow who uses her inheritance to buy a theater and opens a nude revue.
Then, the very next year, another Oscar nomination.
For Notes on a Scandal in 2006, at age 72. And this is a crucial role because she played a deeply complex, manipulative, and often unpleasant London teacher opposite Cate Blanchett.
We should slow down on Notes on a Scandal for a moment. These weren't just token supporting roles. She was central to the story.
Central. Her performance in this film earned her an Evening Standard Award, and critics hailed her as being part of perhaps the most impressive acting duo in any film of 2006.
So she's actively seeking out these challenging, often darker roles. She's refusing to be boxed into the soft, comforting maternal roles often reserved for older women in Hollywood.
She was pushing back. She was demanding complexity.
And she proved she could handle both the intense Oscar bait drama and global commercial success. I mean, we have to mention The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel in 2012.
Oh, absolutely. While it's lighter in tone, it was a massive, unexpected success for an ensemble cast of veteran actors, including Dench, Maggie Smith, and Bill Nighy.
That film and its sequel were colossal commercial hits.
And they demonstrated definitively that there was a massive, untapped market viability for films centered entirely on older characters experiencing life, love, and professional challenges.
It just shattered the belief that global blockbusters had to be centered around youth.
And this commercial success gave her the freedom to pursue challenging dramatic roles again. In 2013, she headlined Philomena.
A true story, which earned her a 7th Oscar nomination at age 79.
And critics recognized the profound nature of this achievement. They specifically noted, at 78, she has a golden career behind her. Dench gives a performance of grace, nuance, and cinematic heroism.
That phrase, cinematic heroism at 78, it deserves some analysis. It's not physical heroism.
No, it's the bravery required to portray deep emotional vulnerability on a global stage. She's playing a woman seeking her son decades after he was taken away from her.
She was refusing to retreat into light, comfortable parts, choosing instead to portray human resilience through suffering.
And most recently, she earned her 8th Academy Award nomination for Belfast in 2021 at the remarkable age of 87.
It truly underlines our central theme. There is no definable peak. There is only the next project. The career is the continuous process.
There's also a beautiful, sort of poetic conclusion to her M story that perfectly encapsulates her professional commitment.
Right. Her final emotionally resonant appearance as M came in Skyfall in 2012.
And the detail provided by the director, Sam Mendes, is just stunning. He revealed in the commentary that he filmed the entire movie in chronological sequence.
Which is highly unusual for a major blockbuster.
Very. And that meant M's death scene, where she dies in Bond's arms after that intense exchange with Raul Silva, was truly the last scene Dench ever shot for the James Bond series.
So she played the end of her character's journey on the very last day of her involvement with the franchise.
It created this undeniable art imitates life moment with enormous emotional weight on set. It was a fitting, intense farewell to the franchise she had modernized and anchored for 17 years.
A powerful demonstration that even in massive commercial ventures, the artistic intensity remained paramount.
But the deepest insight into her philosophy, and the reason she is such an inspiration for anyone who thinks they've missed their window, it comes directly from her.
She has spent the last decade fiercely defying ageism, which she views as a form of intellectual constraint.
Her quotes are rightly legendary in their defiance. She directly confronted the concept of being limited by age, stating simply and powerfully, "Age is a number. It's something imposed on you."
She sees it as an external constraint that you can actually choose to ignore.
And she actively pushed back against the idea of imposed limitations, especially regarding her physical or mental capabilities. She said, "I don't want to be told I'm too old to try something."
I want to see for myself if I can't do it, rather than be told you might have a fall or you can't learn your lines.
She takes ownership of her limitations rather than accepting those imposed by others.
And she finds the very suggestion of slowing down or retreating insulting. She states it drives her absolutely spare when people ask if she will retire or put her feet up.
This defiance is exactly why her persona is so significant for aspirational aging. She resists being put behind glass or confined by expectation, which is the exact opposite of what the entertainment industry usually demands of its older icons.
She insists on remaining relentlessly active, curious, and challenging.
And that public image, the national treasure persona, is almost a performance in itself, isn't it?
Yeah.
Crafted over 7 decades.
It is. She is repeatedly named in British media polls as one of Britain's best-loved icons, or even the outright winner of the arts category in 2008 in one competition. She represents institutional excellence combined with popular accessibility.
But here lies the profound paradox we have to explore. Dench hates that designation.
Hates it.
She sees it as stifling, creatively limiting,
Yeah.
and far too formal. She defines it as a form of fossilization, a process of being permanently preserved and removed from current use.
She elaborated on that feeling, saying it's too dusty, too in a cupboard, too behind glass, too staid.
For an actress whose entire career was built on continuous movement and transformation, being labeled a static treasure felt like an intellectual and creative prison sentence.
She wants to maintain that image of the ever-curious, still-learning, still-working craftsperson.
She told the New York Times she wishes there was another word for it, saying, "I loathe it. I just want to be called a joker, a jobbing actor, somebody who have a laugh."
She wants the emphasis to be on the work, the next job, not the retrospective honorific.
And she backs that up with this deliberate, self-mocking, and often rebellious humor designed to chip away at that regal image.
This is the essence of her enduring popular appeal. She actively proves she's anything but staid.
We have the famous example of her 81st birthday. Most octogenarians receive a nice sweater.
She went out and got a Carpe Diem tattoo, seized the day on the inside of her wrist.
A literal inked declaration that she was not done seizing moments. She also famously sported a Swarovski Crystal 007 neck tattoo, playing up her Bond role with a rebellious, fun, bling attitude.
And perhaps the ultimate sign of her cultural currency, the measure of how far she has spanned high and low culture, is her collaboration with grime MC Lethal Bizzle,
Whose slang term dench means incredible or amazing.
When Dench discovered the connection, she just leaned in, wholeheartedly embracing the moment.
She appeared in a video with him wearing a Stay Dench baseball cap, answering to the nickname Judi Dizzle, and even joining in a rap line.
That is the epitome of radical adaptability, moving seamlessly from Shakespeare's Globe to contemporary grime culture, all while maintaining her official status.
This persona is so universally known and loved that it has become ripe for affectionate satire, which is another sign of cultural embedding.
Oh, Tracy Ullman's comedy sketch.
Exactly, where she plays evil Judy using her nefarious national treasure status to get away with petty crimes like shoplifting or getting the best seats at the theater.
It only works because the public simultaneously recognizes the gravitas and enjoys the absurdity of her trying to resist it.
And, despite her humorous resistance to the formal labels, the state recognition of her dedication to the national arts is undeniable. It demonstrates the sheer scope of her contribution.
She was appointed OBE, Officer of the Order of the British Empire, in 1970.
And then elevated to Dame Commander of the Order of the British Empire, a DBE, in 1988, which is the highest honor for a woman short of joining a royal order.
And crucially, in 2005, she received the Member of the Order of the Companions of Honor, or CH.
And this is a vital piece of the puzzle for you to understand. The Companion of Honor is a highly exclusive award limited to only 65 living people.
And it technically sits above a knighthood or damehood.
It's reserved for those who have made a major, sustained, long-lasting contribution to the arts, science, medicine, or government. It is the definitive state acknowledgement that her work didn't just earn her awards.
It fundamentally enriched the cultural life of the nation over a profound period.
It reinforces the national treasure status, even though she hates it.
And her commitment to the theater, which was the backbone of her career, is also proven by her record-breaking Olivier success.
She holds the record for the most Olivier Awards, with 7 competitive wins, plus a special award for her career in the theater.
And even late in her career, she picked up her 8th competitive Olivier Best Supporting Actress for The Winter's Tale in 2016.
She has also used her status as an advocate, campaigning vocally for state support for Britain's theatrical arts, and becoming a patron of numerous charities, particularly those related to the theater and medical causes.
Her honors reflect this profound, sustained contribution to the entire artistic ecosystem, not just her own career.
And finally, we have to acknowledge the current reality she faces, which makes her determination even more salient and inspirational for our discussion on reinvention and endurance.
Since 2012, she has been battling age-related macular degeneration, which is a severe health challenge.
It's a major debilitating condition for any performer, particularly one who relies on reading scripts, cue cards, and seeing the reactions of their fellow actors.
She's navigated this for years, undergoing knee surgery in 2013, and famously requiring scripts to be read to her.
However, recent updates highlight the severity of the vision loss and the monumental barrier it creates. In November 2025, she shared a raw, heartbreaking update.
She stated her eyesight had deteriorated significantly. She said, "I can't see anyone. I've got, that thing. I can't recognize anybody. I can't see the television. I can't see to read."
And the sources also noted in early 2025 that the deterioration prevented her from going out alone.
This creates a professional challenge that, for most artists, would be seen as completely career-ending.
Yet this is the essential point that circles back to our thesis. Despite profound physical limitations, she absolutely wants to carry on working.
She's actively exploring new techniques, like having other people read the entire script to her repeatedly until she memorizes it through sound, just to keep acting.
Her determination, despite this monumental challenge, reinforces the core theme of resilience and commitment over perceived limits.
She even appeared in a one-off show at the Edinburgh Festival Fringe in March 2023, discussing her life and career, performing excerpts from her past work, and singing.
She keeps showing up. She keeps finding a way to work.
And that is her ultimate, most inspirational and ongoing performance.
So if we connect this to the bigger picture, Judi Dench's career is the ultimate counter-narrative to the societal expectation of diminishing returns with age.
Her longevity and success came from radical adaptability.
The willingness to shift radically from the high-culture credibility of Shakespeare to the popular universality of sitcoms, and then to the demanding global commercialism of the Bond franchise.
All without losing her professional integrity. It's just astonishing.
And she achieved her greatest international acclaim, her highest visibility, and arguably her greatest personal fulfillment, decades after what the industry defines as a conventional peak career phase.
Her fierce, consistent defiance against the concept of retirement or being labeled too dusty and behind glass, it's not just a charming quirk.
No, it is the philosophical core of her entire working life.
She transformed her late career into an era of unprecedented productivity and high visibility by constantly pushing back against the inertia of established success and the limitations others tried to impose.
Her focus remains resolutely on the joy of the next project, the next role, and embracing new cultural phenomena, whether that is an intense Oscar bait drama or collaborating with a grime artist.
She never stopped being a jobbing actor just looking for the next role.
We've explored how Dench successfully navigated a 7-decade career by never allowing others to define her finish line, continually starting new ventures, and actively resisting the idea of being fossilized.
This raises an important question for you, our listener, to consider. Instead of asking what you've put off, maybe ask yourself this. Where are you right now allowing others to define your limitations? And what fossilization are you actively resisting in your own life?
Because if Dame Judi Dench can get a Carpe Diem tattoo at 81 and demand to keep acting despite severe vision loss, there's certainly time for you to start that thing you put on hold, whatever that new chapter may be.
Something profound to mull over until the next deep dive. Keep digging for those nuggets of knowledge.